with Heavy Metal Reptiles, and today we have Courtney out. She was one of my original ball pythons, and if there's any of them in the collection that will bite me, it will be her. Like that. Don't know why she's like that. She's always like that. I work with her quite a bit. It's just how she is. Obviously, I'm not going to try and get bit on camera for you guys, but she's only been in one other video, and I didn't really handle her a lot. And again, this is just kind of a reality of owning them. Every once in a while, you do get ball pythons that just have a temper issue. That strike there was more of a defense strike. It wasn't like a hunger strike or anything like that. I know she's not hungry because we just fed her Thursday or Friday, something like that. So, no, she's not hungry. She's just a very timid and scared snake for some reason. Get her out a little bit every week to work with her, and hopefully she'll calm down by the time she's 6 foot long. But today we're going to talk about 5 products that are and are not worth your money. We're going to give you the one that isn't worth your money, and then the other side of that of what is worth your money. And when it comes to the ones that we say aren't worth your money, they can be worth your money if you're on a budget and you need something. All these products work, they just aren't the best. So yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into that. Alright guys, so it's a different day from the intro video because my boss called me off work at like 11 because it's raining. So we're going to do the video tonight since I have tomorrow off because we didn't finish it, and we still need a video for Friday because work sucks. We're working a lot again. Anyways, we're on Thermostats. Like I think I explained, but because it's been a couple days, our low-end products on this list aren't products you guys shouldn't buy necessarily. It's just products that aren't going to work as good, that there's better products out there that are worth your money compared to these lower end products that are a little cheaper, especially if you're doing a bigger operation. Definitely would go with the more expensive ends. They're going to be a lot more accurate in whatever category they're in, and they're going to be a little bit just better overall. Just going to run you a little bit more. But if you got 1 or 2 snakes, some of these cheaper options might be the way to go for you guys. So I'm going to drink my coffee. It's alright, you don't got to pause it. It's fine. They're going to just go, coffee. So your lower end thermostat will be your Exoterra thermostats. It's the 100 watt on-off thermostat. It's a little black box. I'll have a picture put up for you in the video. It's really not that bad of a thermostat. I still personally use one for Baphomet. Speaking of snakes, we do have Courtney back out. She just tried to kill me before we started recording. And I mean worse than the little bit that's going to be in the intro. Like, she attacked my coffee mug even. Yeah. So, but that thermostat isn't really that bad. The only thing the main thing I don't like about it is it doesn't show you. So some of them will act as a actual what's it called, thermometer, and give you what it's reading at wherever your probe is. Which, if it's working right, it should be whatever you're set to. But this box it's just a box, and it's got a little dial on the side, and you can adjust the dial. It's got numbers and everything. So if you're running something small and you've got 1 or 2 snakes, 1 or 2 of those wouldn't be that bad. But say you got 6 snakes, or you're like that Chris Hawking guy or whatever his name is that does the big breeding operation, Chris Hardwick. If you've got an operation like that going on, or that's what you're working towards, especially if you're working towards that level, it's better to just get the best right off the rip, because you're going to end up in the long run spending more money in the process. So your Exoterra is going to run you around $25 depending on where you go. Now, the alternative to that's going to run you a little bit more, but it is definitely a better option. Don't personally have one yet. I know people that use them, and they're awesome. They're amazing. It is the Herpstat. They have like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's, I don't know if they have a 5. I'm pretty sure they do though. Anyways, they're, I think they go up to 6 though. And they're going to be a little on the pricier end. I was looking yesterday, found a Herpstat on, I think it was a wholesale site or something. And you could buy a lot of them, of Herpstat 1s for like $600. And I think it was 6 a piece. So you're talking about a little over $100 probably for the Herpstat 1. And on that wholesale site, I can find them other places for about $150 to $200. The Herpstat 4, you're talking like $325-ish in that area. So definitely a big difference in what you're paying out, but the product itself is way better. It's all digital, a lot more accurate. You can run multiple different plugins and probes and things off it. So, in my opinion, definitely worth your money to grab that if that's the route you're going, where you can use 6 of them. If not, even for one, the Herpstat 1 is great, you know. So, if you got the money to throw at it, throw it. You won't regret it at all. Alright, so now we're going to talk enclosures. This one is the best said with it is you're not going to really buy a bad enclosure. You've just got to know with whatever enclosure you buy the proper way to set it up. And I can go into kind of a detailed, in-depth thing with that. At a later date, we'll do a video on it, I guess, if people want to see that, or you guys want to see that. So for me right now, currently I use aquariums, but I've had to buy extras for my aquariums in order to properly keep the snakes. I also use tubs. I know that's not exactly politically correct in the snake world for just normal keepers, but my goal is to do breeding and things. So as I've talked about before, I've got, hopefully this upcoming winter will be our first breeding season, and I think we're probably going to at least get 1 or 2 clutches, depending on what I buy in the next few months too. So definitely doing a pied project though. That's happening. My boy Firestorm will be at that breeding size, so definitely doing some pied stuff. Anyways, as far as the enclosures go, there's 2 on this list, and this is one where you kind of can vary. One's going to cost you more money, even though it's a cheaper upfront option, if you're doing your stuff right. The other one, it's just going to be a lot of money up front. So, kind of take as you will. I think you're going to run into more money with the cheaper option and eventually getting everything you need. So, your cheaper option is going to be it's the Exoterra Terrarium 40 gallon. You can pick those up for around $180. We pulled these prices offline, and I've just got them in a book over here to make sure I'm telling you guys right. I think our Petco actually sells them for like $210. So obviously, depending on where you live and things in the world, prices are going to vary. So don't take these prices to heart either. But in my opinion, it's not worth your money to buy that. So our other thing is the PVC enclosures, and we put on here, it's off of Zen Habitats. It's the equivalent, and it about my eyes aren't focusing, $389 it looks like. Is that right? Okay, yeah, $389. Sorry, the light is messing with me while I'm trying to. So it's $385, $389. And I was wrong. It's a 45 gallon. My wife paused the camera to tell me I was wrong when I said 40 gallon. So it's 45 gallon. But it's going to be your closest to that Exoterra. And in my personal opinion, you're probably going to save money, even at that price in the long run. When you start figuring in heating pads, thermostats, all the crazy stuff, I'm pretty sure Zen Habitat, even for just a few extra 20-30 bucks, you can get the belly heating pad put in it, built in with your thermostat and everything built in. I think that's the company that does it. But you're actually going to end up pretty cheap, on the cheaper end, as far as everything you're going to have to buy with the Exoterra. These also PVC enclosures, and like I said, you can find these all over. I found one the other day that's selling the same size as the Zen Habitats for cheaper. But it's PVC, so your snakes only really need one front glass. Everything around it, they really want closed. It makes the snake feel more secure. So, I mean, that's, in the long run, it'll probably be cheaper. Going with the Exoterra, I think most of them have a backdrop in them that block out the back, but you're going to need something to block out those sides too. So, I mean, and people can argue that if you put enough clutter in there that you don't really need to block out all three sides. Tomato, potato, I mean, it definitely would still help to have all three sides blocked out, but I get what they're saying. I mean, it's so hard to really say because these animals come from the wild and the world's not blocked out on three sides for them. So go ahead and move on to the next section. Okay, with your thermometers and hygrometers, this is going to be kind of broad. So you can go to any pet store right now and pick up an analog or digital temperature gauge or hygrometer, whatever you want to say. And analog in itself just isn't accurate. So it's really not worth your money at all to get something like that. I think I just watched someone the other day that was doing tests, and most of them that he had was off by like 10 to 15 degrees on some of them, and then, you know, just 3 to 5 degrees. But you want them to be as close as possible. You want to know what your animal is sitting in, whether it be a lizard or a snake or whatever. Our blue-tongued skink we have to be accurate with. So so you can pick up these analog Velcro adhesive things, which is another thing. Nothing with the adhesives. Anything that's sticky that you stick on there that isn't a suction cup, just if you can avoid them at all costs, do. I made the mistake of using those. Baphomet actually ended up, the one that I learned with, unfortunately, his was stuck on the side of his enclosure. It fell off. He went over top of it and it stuck to him. It didn't hurt him or nothing. I got it off. I think that it kind of lifted the scales a little bit where it was, but we got it taken care of, and he's fine now, and they're fixed. You know, a couple sheds and he was good. But you can pick them things up for anywhere from $4 to $13-14. I guess if you need something just for the time being and you have to use it for a week or whatever, it's not going to really do much damage at that point. But I would just avoid them at all costs if possible. What you really want to do is you want to go with a suction cup of some sort or a standalone in the bottom of the tank. You can pick up the analog or the digital probe suction cup Zoom Eds. I got one right here. Something like this. You got a suction cup and it just slides on the back here, and then you got your probe and you feed your probe into your enclosure. You suction cup this on the outside. These are what I mainly use, just because we haven't ordered our new ones yet that we're getting, which is the ones that I wanted to tell you guys about. You can pick these up for right around what we pay for these, $18. So they really aren't that bad. The hardest part or the worst part with these is they're hard to find for whatever reason. So it might be easier to go online and order them, but they aren't bad. Now what we're going to, I'm gonna try and say this. So it's a Govee temperature gauge or thermometer. It's digital, and they just prop up and sit in the bottom of the enclosure. You can go in and check them, but you can also connect them to your phone. And I think these are the ones even that will send you alerts, so you can actually go in and set what you want the cage to be at. If it drops below or goes too high, it lets you know. It also measures the humidity. They're going to run you quite a bit. How many's in a pack? 2? So you got 2 a pack, and they're going to run you about $69 for 2. Like I said, if you're running 1 or 2 snakes, the ZooMed is perfect. You're running a leopard gecko and you're living at home, this will work. But when you start talking 6 snakes, even for us, these are a pain in the butt. I go through every day and have to, before work, check them all. First thing in the morning, on the weekends, check them all. And then every time we go upstairs, we have to stop in and check them, just because we want to make sure it's right. Now, I'm not critical with my gate or my temperatures. If it drops 3 degrees or is up 5 degrees or whatever, as long as I'm not, 95 residual heat in my enclosures, I'm not freaking out. Just because the sun doesn't tell these guys, hey, you can only have this much warmth today, or we're going to go this high today. You know what I mean? So you want to keep them comfortable, but temperature flux is fine as long as it's not too high or too low. But these other ones, when you start talking 6 snakes and having them connected to your phone, I'll be able to see everybody's stuff right there, even at work. So it's worth your money if you've got the $69 to blow. So next section. So now we're going to just talk about timers. And I actually use one of the timers that we're going to talk about. I currently now use it's the ZooMed Reptile Terrarium Controller. It's really, this is one of those, take your pick. It's more of a preference thing. The one we got isn't that bad. It does what it needs to do. You can't really screw up when it goes off and when it goes on, unless you set it for 9 o'clock and it goes off at 12 o'clock. So these ones are just kind of preference and what you like. But the ZooMed will run you about $21. So got $21. It's, like I said, it's going to do kind of as good as this other one. The other one, the reason I think it's better is it's just easier to use. And it's digital. And it is the Zilla Digital Power Center. This thing's going to run you about $40, but it's digital. So yeah, just push it in, and I think it's got little buttons actually, and you just push in what your cycle is. I think is how those ones work. Instead of a time, the ZooMed, you actually put in 9 to 9 or whatever, and it's little tabs you push down for the timer. I think this one you actually put in how many hours of light you want, but you have to put in the time of the day and everything like that. But it's a little simpler to use, I guess. Digital screen for me is just simpler in general, instead of having to figure out how other stuff works. I don't know. It just, you can physically see it. You can watch the timer. I'm pretty sure on those. I'm pretty sure there's a button that you actually pull up the timer and see when it's going to turn off. If you're in there doing something, you want that light on while you're working. I know the one thing I hate is when I'm working with the skink or the leopard gecko and the light goes off in the middle of me working, because then that room sucks, because I don't worry about putting a lot of light in there, because I use a lot of natural light for the animals, so they kind of have a good cycle anyways. But yeah, this one's just kind of a quick section. Okay, so reptile foggers. This one I don't think is necessarily a preference thing. I think that this higher end one is definitely, as it should be with the price difference, better than the cheaper one. And in my opinion on this one, the cheaper one really shouldn't be an option for you. You want to go ahead and spend the money on the more expensive one, especially if you're dealing with something that you absolutely need the right humidity. For us, with the skink, they get sick if you sneeze in the same house with them. So their humidity is crucial. So personally, these are the kind of things you need to know, in my opinion, when you're making a purchase as far as for the animal. This first one, which is the one that you can get away with if you really want to mess with it, but it's just so hard to get right. And then when you get it right, it's about time to change the water, and then you got to redo it, reset it up. It's the Zoom Med Reptile Fogger. It's about $50. Get a bottle about that big. You screw this thing on it and set it on there, and you got a dial. You have no clue what you're setting it to. You just guess. When I was using it, I sprayed down the enclosure, got the humidity right, and then cracked that on. And then over a 2 or 3 hour period, I was adjusting the dial until it was stabilizing the humidity. I wasn't fogging out the skink, things like that. Because I've used this one for the skink, and it's why I'm telling you from experience, go with the more expensive option. The other one is the Exo Monsoon, the Exo Terra Monsoon, and it's about $120. So it's gonna give you a little bit more control over the amount of fog or water, mist, whatever you want to call it, going into the enclosure. So it's going to be a little bit more easier to adjust. Like I said, I guess all these can be used if you need something then and you don't have the money for it. It'll get you by a little bit. But for me on this one, especially if you're dealing with something like the snakes don't use foggers, I just keep their humidities right through spraying. And like I said, the way I've got it set up, everything contains humidity pretty well. But when it comes to Lilith, she has a screen top on her aquarium. So it's just best for me to go all in and use the higher end fogger and make sure it's right. So unless you want to keep messing with it for hours and hours and hours. So that's just what it is. Alright guys, so I hope this kind of helped you guys, and if it didn't, let me know. I'll redo the video and we'll get it right this time. We'll get it right the next time. But these are just, like I said, some things that are and are not worth your money, and you're going to buy one and have to rebuy it, the exact same style of product and a better option later on, or you know, it might work for a smaller operation compared to a bigger operation. So it's kind of like use your best judgment. And everything, like I said, besides the adhesive on the thermometers and hydrometers, those are the only real part of this that I say stay away from. You can find the suction cup ones even at a decent price. Everyone should be able to afford them. Go with those. It's smarter in the long run. As far as Courtney tonight, the reason I haven't been touching her or nothing, like I said, she tried to kill me, and I really don't want to stress her out any more than what she is being out already. One thing I did say when I was going to do these videos is getting the animals out, and I knew with her she was going to be a little rougher to have in the videos. So just kind of left her here and let her chill and be in her ball. She's going to be a little bit more comfortable that way. I mean, I refuse to put them out here like monkeys in a circus to be stressed out. I just don't think that's right. But I like to have an animal out still, and like I said, I learned a lot of this stuff with this snake. She was one of my first, so she's been through my learning experiences with me. So I figured it was best to have her out. And on top of that, holding her and messing with her during the video, you guys probably would have seen me get bit. I'm not kidding when I say she attacked my coffee. I think she thought that the Annabelle on my coffee mug was a person, and she was like, Yeah, it could have been the heat signature too from the coffee being in the coffee mug. That's a really high heat signature though. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, because I haven't been saying that, I don't think, at the end of the videos. Or I have been, and I'm just not realizing I'm saying it. So, like and subscribe. Check out Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Heavy Metal Reptiles. Like I've said before, Twitter, you have to look up at Heavy Reptiles, and that brings you to the Heavy Metal Reptile page. I honestly haven't been posting a lot on Twitter, because for whatever reason, Twitter's harder to get people to follow your stuff. So if you guys are getting on Twitter and you want to see things, make sure you follow me on Twitter, so I know someone's wanting to see pictures and kind of like blogs or vlogs, whatever, which one is the writing stuff. And I'll start putting stuff on there too, so we can stay a little bit more connected. Instagram wise, I'm on Instagram every day almost. I try to post a picture of the animals every day. And again, reach out to me if you guys need help. I'll help you all as best I can as far as questions you need answered and stuff. Sounds like Friday, or not Friday, Saturday, because I gotta work Friday now. We're gonna be getting a new Krusty, so we'll probably do a video with our new Krusty when we get it. It's kind of like a taken in rehoming thing, so pretty much it sounds like they just kind of don't want it anymore, or we don't really know what the situation is, but we're supposed to pick it up Friday. So again, if you guys have anything like that you need help with, feel free to reach out to us and we'll see what we can do, especially if you guys are in different states or whatever. We can help you find rescues and things close to you guys, or work something out, make it work for you guys and what's best for your guys' animals. So like I said, Heavy Metal Reptiles everywhere. See you guys in the next video.